Welcome, everybody. I'm Terri-Britt, and welcome to our Women Leaders of Love Own Your Worth Wednesdays. I'm going to get the recorded going real fast. So as people are trickling in on our Zoom call, I want to welcome you to Own Your Worth Wednesday. Woohoo! Now, you may be wondering, well, I already own my worth. I would beg to differ. Most people have not truly owned their worth. I know I've been doing spiritual work for over 20 years and I'm still owning my worth too. Okay. So it's not something that you just say, I've owned my worth. Your worth is about really holding a vibration that you matter, that you're worthy of being seen, heard, and valued. And in this vibration that comes from your core, right? It comes from your thoughts and then your feelings and then what you emit, that from that space, you open up to receive miracles. You open up to be nurtured and loved in your relationships, in your work, in your day-to-day life, right? Owning your worth means you speak your truth, you set boundaries, you treat yourself as if you matter, like I said before, but you give voice to your feelings, and not in a way that has to be negative, but that you honor the way you were created. So if you're questioning, I've owned my worth, I want to invite you to think I can go deeper, because truly owning your worth means that you love yourself unconditionally. And in the times that you don't, you bring compassion to the pain, you bring forgiveness to the pain. So this is a very powerful conversation that we have every single Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. You can always catch the replay on right here on Facebook and on my website at terribritt.com/blog. We have all the replays, so if you ever want to catch them there. And then as you'll see, as we get going on here today, and I'm talking about this stuff right now, so we're letting some people get on the Zoom portion. If you want to ask questions and be a part of this conversation, then you can be a part of the Zoom portion of this call. And the way you become a part of that is, if you're not on my mailing list, you can go to terribritt.com/leaders and get my Worthiness Quotient Breakthrough Bundle, which is my Women Leaders of Love ebook. It explains why you want to be a woman leader of love, why you want to step into this truth. And then it's got 3 companion meditations. So it's very, very powerful. And by getting that, you will be added to this Zoom call every week, or you'll be added to the email where you'll get the link to the Zoom portion. Otherwise, you can just watch the replay or watch it live and not participate in the actual question and answer and healing and coaching portion of the call. You can just watch. Now, I have to tell you, this is so cool. Part of being a woman leader of love is we pay attention to the signs, right? We pay attention to what the universe is trying to tell us. Well, as I'm sitting here from my office in my home in the mountains of Georgia, there is a hawk flying by my window, and hawk is the messenger bird. So I want to invite you right now to think about anything that I just said and say, okay, what message was I to receive in that moment? What is it that I'm supposed to take from Terri talking about owning your worth? Because we want to really be that woman leader of love, right? And what that means is you're living full out, whatever that looks like for you. You're saying yes to who you are. You're letting your light shine. You're having fun with life. You're being passionate and playful. You're trusting. Oh my goodness, a woman leader of love is someone who's owned her worth. So she trusts that she can take downtime, that she can have balance in her life, that she can be creative. And as she follows her heart, she knows that the universe is going to support her. This is a woman leader of love. And if you're with us, you're ready to say yes to that. You're ready to step into it. Even if it's not happening for you yet, that's why we do these calls every single week. Now, I want to share with you, hopefully we're into this conversation a little bit and we still have people trickling in. I want to share something with you. As if you watched my broadcast last week, you saw me in bed and I had a very sore back. So when something like that happens, I take it as a sign to go deeper into healing. And I went into my hips because my lower back was really acting out, and it was showing up in my left hip, which is about receiving, which is about allowing yourself to be nurtured and loved. So as I did this, one of the days that I was meditating on it, all of a sudden I'm seeing my soul come out of me. Okay. My soul is not coming out of me, but it's like it's showing me itself. And in that moment, it was almost like, I don't know how to explain it. You know, when you think of Genie in the Bottle, like Aladdin the play, or Genie in the Bottle, where you rub the genie, like I Dream of Genie. If you some of you are older like I am, and you remember that show, and you rub the bottle, and the genie comes out. Well, in Aladdin, the genie gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Well, what's so cool about this vision I had was that my soul just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And if I'm really honest, the way I've always visualized my soul, and you're going to crack up at this, it's probably because I've never had perky boobs, is that my soul would always be standing there butt naked, perky boobs, you know, healthy and strong, and saying, you know, this is your truth. But this time she didn't show up that way. This time she just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm like, wow, what is this? What is going on? And I asked her, and she said, Terri, this is what humans do. You try to stuff your soul in. You try to push it down into your body. And then the more you feel disconnected and the more you suffer, you separate. You don't allow the beauty and the greatness of who you are to be, you know, to be in your allness. Okay. And so what she was showing me is that we all have this soul that is so massive. I mean, it is like as big as the universe, right? I had a friend over yesterday. We do trades on healing, and as I was guiding her through this meditation, because it was so cool, she's like, "It's as big as this room. It's as big as this building." And I said, "I know." And we tend to think our souls are in our bodies, when in reality, our bodies are in our souls. Now think about that. So we let our bodies, which is the physical form, try to control our lives. This is our mind, our bodies, and we have this part of ourselves that stays in survival because we want to stay alive, right? But our soul is so much greater. It is so much more massive. And for me, you know, I've known this, but I didn't actually visualize it as that. As I said, I would just see her as my equal and then let her walk into me, which is fine. But then it's to recognize that there's this bigger portion of you. And when I was talking to my soul, what was so cool about it is she picked me up, me, the human form. Okay. I saw her pick me up. She puts me in her arms, and I'm literally like a little bitty baby in her arms. Okay. She's holding me up against her chest. And I'm like, oh my gosh. No wonder we all suffer, because when we're trying to stuff this big thing, it's like, think of it as stuffing the genie in the bottle. When we say, get in, soul, you can't be all that you're here to be. You got to play by the good girl rules. You gotta act right and do good and be good and all this good stuff. You got to get it right. And we put that soul in that bottle. We put the lid on it. Think about what that would feel like. That's why we feel caged, right? We feel so caged because of that, because we're stuffing our souls in and trying to stuff it in and stuff it in and stuff it in, thinking, okay, I gotta act good. I gotta do it right. I gotta be good. And we stuff and stuff and stuff and stuff and stuff. And then we wonder, why am I suffering? Why does life feel hard? Why am I not joyful? Why do I feel sad all the time? Or why am I a little bit depressed? Why do I feel hopeless? It's because we've stuffed our genies, our beautiful souls in the bottle. I don't know about you, but that doesn't work. It sucks. And I hope that as I'm sharing this with you, you can relate to this about, wow, when I suppress my light, when I don't allow my light to shine, I am stuffing that soul in the bottle. Now, here's the other thing. As you can tell, I've been doing a lot of deep meditation. I was talking to my soul after this happened. I think it was the next day. This has happened over the last week. And as I'm talking to my soul, she starts pulling this contract out of my lower back, which is where I have been hurting, right? And I think I shared with you guys last week, I've been crying a lot and releasing, and I knew there was healing happening. I could feel the tears. I'd let them come up. And instead of judging them, I just have compassion for myself and say, I'm sorry you're hurting. There's stuff you're releasing. Because I knew my back being out was showing me something, right? Well, then my soul comes in and she pulls out this contract. Well, I'm letting somebody in. So I see contracts as they can be contracts with a person in your life. They can be contracts with something that you've come in to work on in this lifetime, right? Well, this particular contract said, it's my fault. And I went, wow, I've been running that contract for years. Now, I had an awakening with it years ago when my mom had her stroke when she's almost 80 and she was 56. I was doing a healing on her and I heard in my ear very clearly, you're not to blame for your mother's pain. And then I heard it again, you're not to blame for your mother's pain. I was like, whoa, I have been blaming myself my whole life. But when I saw the contract and it said, it's my fault, I realized that in that moment, if you're running that energy of it's my fault, you're coming from a space of guilt. So we stuff our souls in because we feel that everybody else's unhappiness, like we watch our parents, right? We watch them trying to do everything for us, or maybe they're lashing out at us, but we take on the belief that it's our fault for their unhappiness. It's our fault that maybe a parent lashes out. You know how children do, their little minds say, it's my fault, I'm to blame. And so when we do this, when we say it's my fault and we take that belief on, we start stuffing our souls down that much more. And think about your parents. Did your parents stuff down their souls? Did they push that energy down thinking this is love? This is what I need to do for you as my child. Did, even if somebody was, they didn't feel very loving. I mean, I know there were times where my parents, I know my mother, for instance, she stuffed her soul in when she got married and had me 11 months later. And she wanted to do things with her life, but she stuffed it in thinking this is what a good mom has to be. Well, in her stuffing her soul and trying to play small, she'd be angry, she'd be sad, she'd be depressed. And as a child, that's when I took on the belief I am to blame for my mother's pain. So what did I do? I then grew up trying to be the pleaser, trying to earn everyone else's love. And so what I started doing was stuffing my soul in. When I would stuff my soul in, that's when I would lash out. That's when I would be in pain and anger and suffering. So now I'm perpetuating the cycle, right? I'm perpetuating the cycle with the people I care about. So not only am I feeling like I am this bad person because I've lashed out, but I've taken on this belief as a child that it's my fault that the people around me are unhappy. So if you're holding that belief of it's my fault, then what happens is you're coming from a space of guilt and you're going to repel miracles. You're going to repel the goodness that you want in your life. You're going to repel the job you want or the money you want to make. You're going to repel that if you're holding a vibration that says, no, you're guilty, you're wrong, or you're bad. So this energy has been so profound because when we look at worthiness, if you're coming from a space of it's my fault, you are not going to allow yourself to receive love. You are not going to feel worthy. Think about that. As I'm talking to you about this and you're taking this in, I don't know if my story is a mirror to your story. But if you are holding that belief inside of you that says, I have to be good, and if I'm not good, it's my fault that you're unhappy. It's my fault that things aren't working out. It's my fault that you're in pain or you're suffering. People suffer because they are stuffing in their souls. They're trying to live in this small bottle rather than letting the genie come out of the bottle. Okay. But as kids, we don't understand this. I mean, I don't even think most adults understand this. You guys are getting it or already understand it because you're a woman leader of love and you're doing this inner work, right? We have to let go of this belief that it's my fault. It's my fault. I mean, think about this. It is one thing for someone to blame you because they're suffering. But when you take it on and own it and say, it's my fault, then you are holding that vibration that says, I am not worthy of being nurtured. I am not worthy of being loved. I am not worthy of being heard, of seen, or valued. Think about that. It was interesting because this morning I was doing some more meditation on it. And Mother Mary came in and was talking to me, and she said, this energy of it's your fault comes not only from your family lineage, but it comes from, of course, lifetimes of this energy. And a lot of it has to do with, just it can be religion, it can be schooling, it can be, I mean, it's just the dynamic of it's easier to blame than to look at ourselves. Because if we're raised to be good, if we're raised to do it right, and especially if we watch our parents deny themselves and suffer, then we take on the belief that suffering equals love. That that really sucks. Suffering equals love, but it's not. It's not loving. It causes us to suppress our souls. It causes us to take on a belief that I am the problem. I am to blame. It's my fault. I don't know about you. When I saw that energy shifting, it was unbelievable. It was so huge. So I want to take us into a meditation today to look at this. Okay, I'm not even sure where I'm going to be guided. I don't know if we're just looking at a soul, if we're looking at it's my fault, if we're doing both. We're just going to allow God to guide us and be in a space of healing. But I really want to invite you to let this healing in. As we go into meditation, I want to invite you to close your eyes and say, I give myself permission to really fully receive this healing today. Because let me tell you, when you can let go of this energy, it's crazy. It was so interesting. I have to tell you one last thing. I think I shared with you guys last week that I have these tarot cards that are all about love. And I think I did that in our private Women Leaders of Love group. If you haven't joined us, make sure if you're on the Facebook page, on the Women Leaders of Love Facebook page, ask to join the private group. And because I've been posting some stuff in there, and I was showing these cards, and one of the cards that I drew after all this thing happened, I forget what it was called. I don't remember what the name of it was, the particular card, but it said the gates have been opened. And I was like, wow, that's so true, right? When you can go into that state of forgiveness and love and release that it's my fault energy, you really open the floodgates of manifestation. I mean, even if you think about it, like where I saw the contract coming out, it was in my second chakra, where we manifest from down in our second and first chakras, and a little bit into the third, but you really get down in here. And this is where we hold so much of that guilt energy. And I was asking my chiropractor, because we have some really cool conversations about this kind of stuff. And I said, how many people have lower back pain? He goes, oh my gosh, I don't even know the percentages, and think about that. What if everyone who had lower back pain was related to it's my fault? You're unhappy because it's my fault, which is not the case. Okay. So I just wanted to give you all that food for thought and see what comes up for you. So let's do this meditation. Let's see where spirit guides us and what comes up for you today in this whole conversation. So I want to invite you right now to close your eyes, take a deep breath, hold it, and release. Take another deep breath, Hold it and release. As you continue to breathe in through your nose, letting the air come all the way down in your belly, holding it for a few seconds, and then releasing very slowly. I want to invite you as you do this to just visualize opening up the crown of your head. We're going to take a moment to get grounded and get fully present to this moment. So as you open up, visualize opening up the crown of your head. I want you to imagine the light of forgiveness flooding in. Let that light flood through the crown into your face, into your jaw, the back of your head, into your neck. Breathing in and breathing into this light into your shoulders, down your arms, visualizing the palms of your hands and the tips of your fingertips opening up. So anything that you're holding on to, any judgment, anything that you face after this conversation can flood out and dump to the bottom underneath your feet. Now allowing this light to move from your shoulders. Again, we're bringing in the light of forgiveness, allowing that light to come down through your shoulders into your heart, into your rib cage, and into your belly, all the way down to the base of your spine. Letting that energy now go down your legs, into your ankles, releasing the stuck energy of your ankles, and all the way into your feet, allowing the energy to flood out of the balls of your feet and the tips of your toes. These are where we also have chakras. And let that energy once again sit below your feet. And now imagine that you're so full of light that it's flooding from the top of your head and into your aura around you, that energy field around you, extending it out as far as your hands will go out, your arms, if you were to extend them out, and even go beyond that, go beyond your fingertips, maybe 6, 7, 8 inches, maybe even a foot. Let all that energy that's flooding in go in front of you, behind you, on either side of you, and down where your feet are, where all that other yucky stuff has been sitting. And now open up the bottom of this energy field that you're in. I imagine it like a camera lens, and send everything down a column of light. This is your grounding cord. So I'm being shown that we're going to talk to our souls. This is the first thing we're going to do. So I want you to imagine as you're sitting here and you're centered, I want to invite you to say, I'm ready to see my soul. Now, you may see it exactly like I used to see it as someone standing in front of you, but I want you to imagine, and you might even have fun with this, is that if you see your soul coming out of, say, your second chakra or your third chakra, wherever you want to, like in your where your belly is, or right where your ribs cage meets, wherever you want to see it coming from, see it connecting there, and that it grows and grows and grows. You can almost think of yourself as the bottle. And if I've been stuffing this in, and let it fully come out. I give myself permission to see the fullness and the beauty of my soul. Allow yourself to be in this. If you feel any emotions, if you feel happy, sad, whatever, just allow those feelings to come up. Breathing into this. You feel free to give your soul a hug. You can feel, if you want to allow your soul to pick you up, to hold you like the child. And now ask, what does your soul want you to know? Is there a message that your soul has for you? What does your soul want you to know? Breathing into this. And now ask your soul, am I holding on to this energy of it's my fault? And you might get a thumbs up, a thumbs down. You might have a feeling where it's like, oh, yes, I have that. Even if it's an inkling of that energy, we want to help clear that out right now. And you can ask your soul now to clear it for you. Mine was in my lower back. You might see your soul going to another part of your body or your mind or whatever, and ask your soul to clear the energy. And if there's a contract, you can even ask to see the contract. I see it usually as a piece of parchment with a word on it or a few words. Like I saw, it's my fault. Let all that energy go. Again, if you're feeling any emotions, allow them to come up. You can be crying and feeling really sad, but at the same time going, wow, thank you for this healing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I would be celebrating that even in the midst of emotions, I would be celebrating that you're seeing this and you're releasing it. Breathing into this. If you do see a contract, you can visualize writing today's date. As we're taping this, it's February 16th. If you're watching the replay, you can put whatever date it is and write your name. Visualize writing your name and then stamp a big done on it, red, done. And then you can move that contract out. You can put it in a rose and send it out into the universe and blow it up like confetti. We send it back with love. Or you can just ask your soul to transmute the energy. It's whatever you want to do. Breathing into this some more. And what I'm seeing now is to bring in the energy of playfulness. Because when we're playing with the good girl rules and we're trying to not be blamed and we're trying to avoid that feeling of it's my fault, we avoid playing. We avoid having enough fun. Or if we do, then we may judge ourselves and say, I should be doing this or I should be doing that. So I want to invite you right now to bring in the energy of playfulness. Bring it into the crown of your head. And you can even feel your soul like wrapping its arms around you and infusing your whole being with this playful energy. It's so cool to feel that energy. And as it's doing this, and as you're releasing even more energy, you can even say, I release this guilt energy from my family, my lineage, my past lives, everything that has to do with me saying it's my fault that other people are unhappy, that other people are suffering. Let that go. Breathing into this, infusing your body with this light and this love, this playfulness, forgiveness. Let all the energy and let it flood into your body and your aura and even down your grounding. Feels so good. And now you can feel yourself completely just merging with your soul. Like it's just, instead of the soul sinking into your body so much, you're feeling the soul in your body, but the soul is wrapped around you. You can see yourself being held by it, as I mentioned earlier, in your heart, in the heart, connecting to the heart. However, you want to see it, that you're merging, but knowing that we're not stuffing the souls in our bodies. The body encompasses, I mean, the soul encompasses the body. Okay. The body doesn't encompass the soul encompasses the body. So breathe into this. Feel the energy, feel the joy in it. And then when you're ready, you can come back into this space. How fun was that? I hope you had somewhat of an awakening like I had with that. It was like, oh my gosh, especially the it's my fault thing. And then how I've been trying to stuff my soul in my body. It's like, holy crap, this is so cool. So I want to open up for any questions or comments, or if you had an aha. Also, if you had something that's come up for you in, recently, I had the coolest message that was sent to me by a woman. Who's been on here many times. She's been having to work for our live calls lately, so she hasn't been able to comment live. But she sent me this message, and she said, "You know what, Terri?" She said, "I've been following you and listening to this stuff," and she realized that she needed, to play bigger, and she got asked to speak at some event, and she does some mentoring, I think, and ministry, and she thought it was going to be a classroom, and she walked in, there was 300 people, students and teachers and all kinds of stuff, and she wasn't sure what to tell before she went. And she said, I told my story and I thought about feelings and the inner child and all this stuff that we do here, right? And she said people were calling her afterwards wanting to know more. So when you say yes to doing this kind of work, which I know so many of you have been doing it for a long time, and I'm just hands up to you. But when you do this, that's the kind of miracles that can show up. I mean, she's got this other teacher called her and said, I want us to do some stuff together. And I don't know. I was so excited to hear her expanding and really truly being that woman leader of love, because she was incorporating all of this stuff that she'd been learning. So that is so exciting. Anyway, does anyone have a comment? If you want to raise your hand, there's a reaction button that is on your screen. It should be. Again, I always say, I'm not sure how it looks on your phone because I'm always on my computer, but you click on it and there's a bar that says raise your hand. If you can't find it, then I want to encourage you that just unmute yourself and say, "Hey, Terri," and we will see. I'll just have you come on and talk. I'm sitting here to see if there's anybody if anybody's written anything. So anybody want to say anything? Does anybody have an aha today? Did anybody have a fun time talking to your soul? Nobody's going to ask a question. Let me see. If you don't know how to unmute yourself, you have a little microphone icon, should be on the bottom of your screen. It'll show you as muted with a red bar through it. If you want to unmute yourself, you just click it and that will take the bar off so that you're now live if you want to come on and talk. Let me see if there's anybody who wants to say anything. Okay, well, if we don't have any questions or comments, then we will make this a short day on our call. Let me see. Okay, so Jane says, yes, something came up. Okay, do you want to unmute yourself, Jane?
Hello.
How are you?
Good. It's good to see you. Like you have transmuted what you explained was very nice to hear.
Yeah, it's good to see me not in bed, right? Last week, I'm like, I can't believe I'm doing this in bed, but I just really wanted to show up and for you guys. And it was really good for me. So what came up for you today, Jane?
I liked when you said with the I am not worthy, and you said several stuff. So I just first wanted to ask you, can you repeat what you said? Like there were many.
Girl, you must think I'm really good because I don't know that when I'm talking, I'm allowing it to flood through me. So about not being worthy. And it was something specific. Tell me how you felt so I'll know which way to go with it.
I remember you said I am not worthy of being seen, of being valued.
Oh yes,
there were several.
Right. When a lot of times when we could disconnect from our souls or we're pushing our souls down, it's like disconnecting from who we truly are. What we're doing is what we're saying is, I'm not worthy of being seen, of being heard, or of being valued. I don't matter. This is why we do so much of the inner child work, because it's that little kid inside of us who feels like I'm being abandoned or I'm being rejected or I don't belong or I'm not enough. So when we love the little kid, we can really, embrace that child and treat ourselves as if we matter. And if you've seen any of my talks on worthiness, that's when you cross the divide of lack and move into a high worthiness quotient where you open up to receive love, and then you have more to give. You find your gifts, you become of service. So when you are treating yourself as if you matter, when you're feeling seen, heard, and valued, you feel worthy. And when you don't, when you feel like, okay, well, they're not seeing me, they're not hearing me, they're not loving me the way I want to be loved, we feel unworthy. We feel as if we're not enough. Now, as I was just talking about today, if you are carrying that energy of it's my fault, then what's going to happen is you're going to continue to be the pleaser. You're going to continue to try to get it right for everyone else and make everyone else happy. In doing that, in being the pleaser, you're saying, I don't matter. My feelings don't matter. I'm not worthy of being seen, heard, and valued. So every time we're trying to be the pleaser, we're stuffing our souls. We're sending that little kid inside of us into the corner or into a closet. And we're saying, you don't matter. Everyone else matters more than you do. And that's when we're playing by the good girl rules. We're saying, I got to be good. I've got to show you that I'm worthy of love, because we keep looking for love outside of ourselves. So as we keep looking for love outside of ourselves and looking for other people to fill us up, we're actually saying, I don't matter. I'm not worthy of being seen, heard, and valued. That's what we want to stop. And a big part of this, and what I was talking about with the soul today, is we're meant to shine our lights. Women leaders of love, or we are women who are saying yes to our souls. We're saying yes to being a part of this beautiful energy of God, because you think of the souls all connected, right? And that make up this beautiful body of God. And so as we're saying yes to our souls, we're saying yes to who I am, yes to who I was created to be, and we're giving voice to that. And then we become, and the way we figure out, who am I is we love that little kid. We find out what's hurting. Who are you? What matters to you? How do you want to be loved and nurtured? And so it kind of becomes your own little holy trinity, right? You, your inner child, and your soul, which is a part of God, which is, that part of God that you make up. So does that answer your question?
Yes. So for me, I'm not a pleaser. But the thing that came up is that I am not enough for my mother.
Then that is a pleaser. Because
Yes,
even
but
though
yeah.
you may not be acting on the pleasing, because so here's a couple of things that happen. So you may not be trying to please your mother, but there's this sense of guilt that I'm not enough for my mother. So what that relates to is, if I'm not enough for my mother, it means I have not pleased my mother.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So even though we may not be taking actions to please, if we have the feeling inside of us that I'll never be enough for this person, then there is a belief inside of there that says it's my fault and I have not done my part to make her feel I'm enough. Even though you aren't consciously thinking that little kid inside of you, Jane, is most likely thinking that. Okay. If we are judging ourselves of I'm not enough and I'm supposed to be something more, then we have a belief that we're supposed to please. We're supposed to somehow make them happy. Okay. And so the problem is with your mom, if you've never felt enough for her, the problem is that she's never felt enough. And she's projected her lack onto you. And it has really nothing to do with you. It has to do with her pain.
Mm-hmm.
You understand that?
Yes, and I thought I was over with that, but then this came up today. Yeah.
This is the way I look at being human. Is I think of it as a staircase where we're ascending, into a deeper connection to our souls. And over here, when we're on this side of the spiral, we're working on this, and it's like, oh, okay, that feels good. And so we go over here and we start making our way up. And then we come to this next, we're right here, we're working on something else. And then we come back up over here like, oh my gosh, there it is again. This is way I look at it as contracts. Okay. That your mother is this amazing spirit who's playing her part. Okay. Your mother, even though
Yes,
it
of
feels
course.
so awful, she is playing her part. You guys are in soul agreement to do this together. So, I know, I mean, like even with your kids, if you have kids, my kids, there are moments where it seems beautiful, and then other moments it's like, ah, right? And I think, well, those moments it feels, what's wrong? It doesn't feel like there's a deep communication. That doesn't feel like our hearts are open. Then I try to look at it as, instead of saying, well, what's wrong with me, or what's wrong with you? I'm trying to look at it and going, okay, what is this mirroring to me? Like we always talk about, right? So you just have to look at it as, now it sounds like, because if you look at the mother relationship, that's all about the mirror of mothering yourself. So if it's coming up again with your mom, then it's like, how do I love myself deeper? Okay. So just because something's still there, it may be there for the rest of your life, but at some point, as long as you keep going into that deeper space of how do I love myself deeper? How do I talk to that little kid inside of me? How do I talk to my soul on a deeper level? How do I honor and love the way I was created more? Then you'll be able to go into that really deep space of gratitude for your mother and go into neutrality. I mean, Jane, I've been doing this work for over 20 years, and I still have moments where my mother gets to me. Yeah. I mean, I had a conversation with her not too long ago, and I said, what was your issue with me? And she goes, you were difficult. So that's her projecting pain onto me, right? But when I look at what was difficult, my mom didn't want to look at feelings. She didn't want to deal with anything. She wanted it just to go away. Where I'm the type of person that if I was feeling something, I wanted to talk about it. I didn't want to be the good girl. She was the ultimate good girl. And I was told I needed to be the good girl in the messages that was sent, but my spirit was going, you're not here to be a good girl. You're here to be a leader. Okay. So that triggered her. So in those triggers for her, she saw me as difficult. Well, really, it wasn't me being difficult. It was her suppressing her soul.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry you're like, I don't want to do this with my mom again, but just take it as a gift and go deeper in it. But if you feel like you're not enough for your mom, then that little kid inside of you says, I could never please my mom. And it may be that you're not pleasing her now, but if there's still that energy there, like I can remember years ago, my late husband was a garment manufacturer and he made clothes for Macy's and Dillard's. And so he always had really cute clothes. I would take tons of clothes home to my mom every time I would see her. And finally one day I'm like, why am I doing this? And it's like, I'm like, just like, pile, oh, maybe this will make her happy. Oh, maybe this will make her happy. I mean, I was like, well, what else can I do, And then one day it hit me. It was like, what am I doing? This is guilt. This is guilt. What have I done? But it was that lingering energy that said, I was difficult. I was wrong because we bumped heads. But in reality, I was her greatest gift if she would take the opportunity to look at what I was trying to teach her. And then she was my gift because by healing a lot of that stuff, I moved into my life purpose.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right. So
Yeah.
yeah, I invite you to just go deeper, love yourself deeper.
Mm-hmm. And is there something like with our birthdays? We only have 1 day difference, so I don't
Oh,
know if there is a big bonding.
I mean, if your mother if your mother suppressed herself, if your mother was really disconnected from that little girl inside of her, there could be a wall there because, you think of birthdays as that's your one day to get celebrated, right? I mean, maybe that and Christmas or whatever you celebrate. And, even though, I mean, was hers first or it doesn't really matter is what I'm hearing. I was going
Yes,
to say,
she's first and then I came. Yeah.
okay. So that was her day, right? But if I were to guess, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, that when you were born and she started taking care of your birthday, did she allow herself to be celebrated as much?
Less. Yeah. Less.
Mhm. So there may be some competition there with her, not from you, but from her. My mother told me, she goes, I felt competitive with you. And I think that happens a lot of times with daughters and mothers, because if the mother is self-suppressed and she's pushing that little girl inside of her into a corner and not treating her as if she matters, then another little girl comes, then your daughter comes along and all of a sudden you're doing what you think a good mom should be and you're treating your daughter like everything, and maybe the husband is too if there's a dad around, and now the little girl inside of the mom is going, well, I really don't matter. So there might have been some competition there. Actually, there was a lot of competition there is what I can see. um yeah, it feels like she was in so much lack that she would project onto you as the problem. It was easier to project it onto you than to look at herself, is what it feels like to me.
And you can really see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if you can, maybe this is where you need to go with your mom, is looking at your mother in spirit and just looking at her and saying, I'm really sorry you were hurting so bad that you needed to take your pain out on me, because it had nothing to do with you, Jane. It had
Mm-hmm.
everything to do with your mother and her pain. So if you can maybe see her as a wounded child that did not feel loved, did not feel as if she mattered. And that's what people do, right? I mean, you've had girlfriends and seen people where they're tearing down another person, and you're probably going, why are they doing that? Right. And they're tearing someone down because they feel like, well, I'm not enough. So they've got to feel not enough. I don't want them to be more than I am. When in reality, if they look at that person they envy and say, wow, she's got so much love around her. Where am I not allowing myself to be loved that way? Where am I shutting myself down to receiving that kind of love? How do I love myself deeper? Then that person can be a tremendous gift to you. But most moms don't do that. They don't, they're so buried in, I need to be, loving and deny myself. I need to suffer for my family, being the martyrs, that they actually create more suffering because they're not taking a chance to look at themselves. Does that make sense for you?
Yeah, that was very profound. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. If you'll mute yourself, that would be great. Sydney said, amazing. I felt vulnerable and powerful while merging with my soul and strengthening mind, body, soul connection. It was great to remember that we are whole and complete while creating harmony and health. Thank you. You're welcome, Sydney. That's awesome. Awesome, awesome sauce. Anybody else have a comment I want to raise? Oh, Tammy has raised her hand. So Tammy, I am going to ask you to, oh, you're unmuted, it looks like.
Yeah, this is a huge feeling guilty. I think it's my go-to emotion, that things are my fault and unnecessary. But one of the things that I'm working on right now is trying to be more direct in my conversation. And I was raised to people please, be nice, do not speak up, because, if anything would cause anyone to feel uncomfortable, that's harming another. If they're going to feel uncomfortable, you can't speak the truth. You can't call them on the carpet because they wouldn't like it and it's not nice.
Oh my gosh, you're describing my life, lady. Oh my gosh, you've got this. Yes. Okay.
So with all of that, not being able to speak, then of course setting boundaries, well, that's, kind of out. So part of it too, my mother is a very kind and nice person, and people love her, and it's worked for her. And so there is a sense of some like betrayal to the family, the women, I don't know, the way of being, this is how you're supposed to be. You're not supposed to be powerful and direct and, possibly abrasive at times, whether you're trying to or not, because that's not nice.
Right.
But I think that I'm supposed to move in that direction. So I did have a conversation with my mother about it, and, she was very gracious and like, you need to do what you need to do. But I'm just wondering how you could help me with releasing some of that fear that I'm harming others when I speak directly, speak my truth. And it might on occasion be, either setting a boundary someone doesn't like or calling them on their behavior where they have been.
Absolutely. Well, what I can tell you is what you've been doing in the past is dysfunction and codependency. Now, think about this. Think about all the alcoholics and drug addicts. They're all dysfunctional and codependent. So even though you may not be doing that, that is that same energy. Okay.
Yes.
So just one, recognizing that. And, but I want to tell you a quick story because this might make you laugh and see something. So I go to dinner a couple of weeks ago. There's a whole bunch of us going on a cruise. I think about 13 or 14 of us together in August. And we all went to dinner to kind of talk about it. Well, there's this nice restaurant. Well, the server comes over and starts to pour water in my glass, touches, like, here's my glass, touches the water jug to my glass, pouring it in. And this drives me crazy. Okay. Because one, on a regular basis, I don't want somebody else's germs. I'm not a germaphobe. I just, I don't want your germs. But during a pandemic, I really don't want your germs. And so my kids have seen me do this and they're like, oh, and because they were there and then some other people. And so I asked the waiter, can I ask you to come here for a second? And the waiter came over and I said, I know you don't mean to do this intentionally. And I said, but I just want to bring this to your attention. Everybody's looking at me like this. I'm talking quietly. And I said, would you get me a new glass? I said, because really you're passing germs along as you lay it on it. If you can, you might want to try to, pour it up here. To me, I'm taking care of my family. I'm taking care of myself, And Charlie's like, I would have never said something. And I'm like, well, quite honestly, and this was not very nice for me to say this, but it's not so much it was nice, but it was just pure blunt. And I said, I find it that everyone who won't say it is a little bit of a coward because we're in a pandemic. And this kid did not know any different. He had not been trained any differently. And that's not his fault. I was so nice to him. And he, it was fine after that. I was not mean. I just explained to him what was going on. We're in a pandemic. You don't want to be touching everybody's glasses. It's already bad enough that we're touching each other, let's be cautious or aware. But people were like appalled. I could see some of the people at the table going, like, you're really going to do that? And I'm like, yeah, I'm really going to do that. I'm going to be brave here. I'm going to call it like I see it. I'm going to do it in a nice way. In the past, I might have been more abrasive, but I was really nice about it. But it's like, why would we want? I mean, this is just a great picture of it. Why would we want to stay in, oh, I'm not going to rock the boat? What if the person across the room that he just poured the guy's water had COVID and it came over to our table and got spread to someone on our table and they died? Okay. I mean, do I want to be codependent and do I want to be dysfunctional and afraid of what everybody's going to think about me when it might be literally in that situation a matter of life and death? When you are being in your dysfunction because of the way your mom was, it may not be a matter of life and death, but when you're not straightforward, when you're not setting boundaries, you are clipping people's wings from flying. Okay, because you are trying to fill them up and they are not forced to take a look at themselves. They're not forced to say what's going on inside of me. This is why people just go boom, boom, boom. It's kind of flatlining until maybe a death happens in the family or something, a bankruptcy or a huge loss, losing a home in a fire, or whatever. They don't wake up until they're forced to wake up because everybody's playing codependent. But if you say, I'm going to be that woman leader of love that's going to speak my truth, that's going to set my boundaries, and because it's not my fault if you get lit up and upset by me, that is your opportunity to go within and heal. That is your opportunity to grow and expand and get your wings. That's how you have to see yourself as a woman leader of love. Does that help a little?
Yes, and I totally appreciate it. I have another commitment, so I need to go, but maybe next time I can respond to that. I appreciate it very much. Thank you so much.
I hope that helps. And I see you're in your car. I'm glad you're stopped.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Terri. Appreciate it.
Terri, thank you. Okay, well, I think I'm going to ask to lower your hand. I can take one last question. Well, actually, we're right at 3, but does anyone else have a thought they want to add? Okay, then we are going to wrap this up. So I want to invite you right now, as you're in this space, that we just close our eyes for a minute, wrapping this conversation in, taking in whatever rang true for you today, whatever felt like, wow, I really need to pay attention to this. And I want you to imagine that you've absorbed it, you're living it, you're walking with your soul. You can even see your soul carrying you and you carrying your inner child, and you've got your inner child in your arms and you are in your soul's arms and you are being carried and loved and nurtured. And let's just give thanks for this healing today, this beautiful, beautiful healing of everyone showing up that continues to show up. Thank you for being here, sending love to everyone, saying yes, 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 yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the healing. Breathing into this, feeling the energy moving through your body, just saying yes to it. Yes to the healing energy. Yes to your soul. Yes, that you are not to blame. It's not your fault if someone else is having a hard day. Now, if you do something intentionally, then you have to look at yourself, but you know when it's someone else's stuff and it's not yours. So let it go. Breathing in and releasing. Whew, so that was really fun. Thank you guys for being here. So, oh, there's a new message that just came up. Let me see what this message is. Jane says, thank you, Terri. The meditation was awesome and your teaching so amazing. Yay, thank you, thank you, thank you. So you guys, share this with your friends. I mean, think about how it would make a difference if more women became women leaders of love. How it would feel so cool, like your girlfriends and maybe somebody you work with, that they came on and that you can have these conversations with each other. Can you imagine what it would be like? So invite people into this Facebook page, the Women Leaders of Love Facebook page. And then if you haven't joined the private group behind us, you can see on the Facebook page, it'll say join Women Leaders of Love. And you can go into the private group because I'm starting to post more stuff in there to really support you as you walk each day. I really am feeling called to build on this now. I created it a couple of years ago, but didn't feel called at that point. And now it's starting, I can feel the energy shifting and where women are really rising to the surface and saying yes to taking a stand for this. So I want to invite you to do that. And then if you want to know how to get on to these Zoom calls and ask your questions, and you're not a part of my mailing list, go to terribritt.com/leaders. And that will get you my Worthiness Quotient Breakthrough Bundle. It's totally free. And then you'll be added to our Zoom list to send out every week. You'll get the Zoom access link. So you'll just look for that in your mailbox. We send that on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So thank you guys for being here. See you same time next week, 2 p.m. Eastern. Have a beautiful, beautiful week and much love to you all. Bye-bye, everybody.